Hey folks, my name is Jürgen, aka Nerd and Proud of It, and Destiny has brought you to my channel today to join me in my journey to completing my The Dark set. Today we are gonna have a look at the black cards. We did the blue cards last time, red cards are next, and the blue cards were very enjoyable to me because I played blue back in the day, and today the black cards are the ones we're gonna add to the collection. And I believe after the black cards we'll have the red cards indeed, and then the green cards, then the artifacts, and then the lands. So let's start right away with Ashes to Ashes. That was a double terror, and you even removed the cards from the game. So yeah, but 5 damage is quite a costly card. I had a great time. Adding the blue cards to my collection. Like I said, it was a feast for me because I personally really enjoy blue as a color nostalgically, or for me it has a very high nostalgic factor because I played a lot of these cards. And as you see on the top right here on the left page, the Leviathan is one of the biggest, coolest creatures out there, so there was a blast to talk about. Banshee, a very creepy card, but I think a little bit too expensive. In general, folks, I think the black cards have absolutely some iconic cards when it comes to the 4 Horsemen sets. Of course, the dark is the weakest one. We discussed that before. That's fine. It aged well. It aged really well. Just looking at these cards, there are still some in there I don't see a lot, and I haven't seen back in the day that often, and now I still don't see them a lot. Bogimp, that's definitely one of the creepy artwork, definitely one of the ones you see a little more often, but you will, we'll come to some heavy hitters of the dark. I always ask, like always, it has been 2 videos. It has been white and it has been blue, and I always ask what your favorites are. So please let me know in the comments. For me, for white, it was the Preacher, I guess, and for blue, I have to say probably Psychic Elegy. Their stench was vile and strong enough, but not nearly as powerful as their hunger. Awesome flavor text, as the dark always has. Very cool flavorful set. The Bog Rats, of course, are definitely iconic and cool. Not the strongest card, but a very nice one. Curse Artifact. I always liked that art by Mark Tedin. I know I haven't met him personally. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I may pronounce it very Dutch and German. I'm sorry, but look at that card with the candles around the mask, skull, whatever it represents. I think pretty awesome. This sleeve is a bit tight, and for a card like this, I'm not risking it, and I'm just taking another one. Let's see if we can use the sleeve for a cheaper card. Yeah, I don't want to damage the cards. There was already a little nick on top there. I purchased the set as a good to near mint set, so not all cards are near mint, obviously. But overall, I have to say the quality of the cards is very good. The condition is very good. Just look at that one, folks. That's a heavy hitter. Eater of the Dead. Beautiful artwork by Jesper Mayforce. I think this card has gone up like crazy before MTG 30, and now it dropped down again. But overall, that is one of those cards that is just iconic, and that might be in my top 3 list for the black cards of the dark. I really love Eater of the Dead. It's one of those cards that will always be unique in some way. I don't know. It's strange and weird to describe. Same goes for Frankenstein's monster, by the way. It's not as iconic as the Eater of the Dead, but it definitely is up there as well as one of the more recognizable cards of the dark. I have looked at the prices in general, and like I said before in the last videos, I will let you know what I paid for the set in my last video, not in the last one before that, in the last video that is talking about the dark in the future. Just to be clear, I want to fill the pages first, talk about it, look at the cool grave robbers, and then then talk about what I paid for it, because I'm all for transparency. I think that's very important. There's a big discussion currently going on the channel about value and modern cards and how much value they should have, but I think the same is valid for old cards and vintage cards, because everybody's like, yeah, this box is $5,000, but then people buy it for 2,000, 2,200, whatever, and that's why I always tell you what I paid. I don't think it's a big secret. And even if you could say, yeah, Inquisition, it's creepy as fuck. Anson Maddox, of course, the master of creepiness. I don't know if you would like to hear that, but I think he has a very distinctive style of drawing cards like this. No, even if a card would, if somebody said, yeah, you bought that card, I don't want to sell any old cards anyway, but you bought that card for like $100 and you want 150 for it, I saw it in your video, you're cheap. No, if the current value is 150, then I ask 150. And again, I'm not selling any vintage cards, any reserved list cards or whatever. Marsh Gas. All creatures get -2, -0 until end of turn. Instant. Yeah, I don't know. It's a nice, if you have some standoff going on, creature against creature, maybe it's nice, but overall I think -1/-1 would have my preference, just to get rid of stuff and not to postpone stuff. But then your own creatures, their own creatures get, I don't know, not a good card. The Merc Dwellers, another piece of art that is more like a painting than like a Magic the Gathering art. Sometimes I think the art is very much corresponding to the name of the card, but with cards like Merc Dwellers, it's just like a little bit abstract, and I personally can get behind that. I don't know, I like it. Yeah, Nameless Race. Also one of those cards I have not seen a lot back in the day, and of course it was on the table here and there while playing, but there are just some cards that somehow feel more rare than they are, because cards like this, you didn't encounter them that often, maybe because they weren't good to play. That one you saw a lot, the Ragman. Look at opponent's hand. If opponent has any creature cards in hand, he or she discards one of them at random. This ability can only be used during controller's turn. So yeah, you can use it as a sorcery, and in general you can make your opponent discard creatures. For 3 black is not very cheap, but Ragman was definitely a card you encountered a little more often than the rest. And I already see what's coming up here. Of course, one of the most iconic cards here, Season of the Witch. That artwork by Jesper Merfors is fantastic, and that copy is just wonderful. It feels very new as well. Look at it. Wow, that looks like it's fresh out of the booster, more or less. Nice one. I like it. There's a little, let's see, with the black light. Wow. That looks very good. That's a positive surprise. One of the more expensive up there. There's a little white nick. Here you see it with the black light, you see it a little better, but overall that card is, wow, I would say near mint. Nice one. These kind of cards to find in near mint condition, I'm always happy about. And like I said, the set should partly be near mint, but in fact, if you buy these cards, people normally say, or sets, people normally say the condition is better than it actually is. I have purchased this from 341 Trading, as I normally do if I buy old stuff, just to be on the safe side. And I think the price was pretty fair in general. So, yeah, it's, wow, the Fallen, so creepy. Look at those eyes. Yeah, that card freaked me out back in the day, I have to say. Some of those cards, I don't know. These cards like this are not made anymore like this. I think it's very unique, and that's what fascinates me so much about the Dark. Just the uniqueness of the set, and how well it aged when you look at it. How yeah, beautiful it is, and how unique it is, like I said. Uncle Istvan. That one has been reprinted. Had been reprinted right away, like in '95. I think this was part either of the fourth edition or of Chronicles, even I believe. But that one was available pretty much everywhere, and it was kind of a good card because he only could be killed by a lightning bolt, but by nothing else. Every damage from creatures was reduced to 0, and that I think includes like damage from abilities from creatures as well. I have to read it again, but yeah. Let's go to the Word of Binding, which looks like a Gene Stealer from Warhammer 40k. I think that card as a sorcery wasn't the strongest one, but definitely iconic artwork. I never played with that one, I have to say. Did you? Let me know. Last but certainly not least, another one of those cards, Worms of the Earth. Another one of those cards I have not seen a lot back in the day. And that's the cool thing when you have a complete set. You see cards like this as well. You normally don't really see that often in the wild. It's like Worms, he's calling a bit like Dune, right? Like with the drumsticks or what he has, like hammers. He's hammering on the earth, calling the worms to destroy the land. Very flavorful artwork. These kind of cards, somehow I think I just recently discovered this card. I don't know. I've been playing for 30 years, and some cards, even of the older Legends, I have that a lot because it's a very big set, yeah. Have to get out the trapped air of the double sleeving. But for Legends, it happens to me a lot. And for other sets, a little less, especially the smaller sets. But cards like this, I might have seen it here and there, but it definitely wasn't on my radar anymore. So having seen this one when I got the set was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting one. There are some of those cards that just tend to be seen that way, at least by me. It is strange. Even if you play for a very long time, you still encounter stuff like that. Let's put things aside here so we can get the trapped air out of the double sleeving. As you saw, yeah, red next, then green, and then artifacts. Very nice. I will put the cards on a flat surface, in this case the playmat on the table. You see there's a lot of air trapped in there, so if you press on the cards they even like spread out. And then I take a heavy deck box that is very even and I gently wiggle it around, no giggities please, and I press down on the pile with the trapped air inside the double sleeves, and then you see the air has been pressed out and you can finally add it to the binder. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the background. I don't know if you hear it, but the kids have to make their homework, to do their homework, and they are not happy about doing it. So I still need to isolate this room because it's. Yeah. Okay, it happens. We leave it in as collateral damage to the sound of the video. While putting in that beautiful Eater of the Dead and Frankenstein's monster. What do I want to say? Yeah, that took me off my path a bit. Yeah, adding the cards. Yeah, here, let's look at this page. All the rest of the blue cards and the beginning of the black cards. Adding those cards to the binder, and I might sound like a broken record, is a very satisfactory process for me. I love that. And I can't wait to flip through the complete binder together with you in a couple of videos and just enjoy the set. So yeah, that's all I can say about this. It's very strange, but it is what it is. I like it, I enjoy it, and I would suggest, if you enjoy old cards, if you enjoy collecting, even if you're not that much into old cards and maybe just into cool artwork or whatever, sets like these are fairly accessible, fairly affordable, and just beautiful. So maybe it is an idea to to just pick up one. And if you are like really crazy, then maybe try to go for an antiquity set or a legend set or even an Arabian Night set. I don't know. I would start with the dark if you haven't done that before at all, just to see how you like it. I will talk to you next time. Thanks a lot for listening. Stay healthy, stay frosty. Bye bye.